I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Today I wanted to discuss lead generation with you. Like a lot of businesses during the pandemic, my business model had to adapt. And for me, that shift was moving away from website design and SEO services to focus entirely on lead generation. If you currently generate and sell leads, what industries have been your favorite to work with and why? Let me know down in the comments. For me, it's been contractors like water damage and appliance repair, legal services for lawyers, and financial leads. They've all been great industries for me, and even some new and up and coming industries like working with OnlyFans content creators. I love each of these industries for their different reasons. I found different strategies work well for getting paying customers. Contractors, for instance, the bread and butter there for me is doing Google My Business traffic. Um, Financial leads, Instagram and Facebook have been a gold mine for me. It's just finding what traffic source works for those leads and plugging it in and being able to sell those leads to reputable companies. It's been a great shift. And I'll be talking more about generating leads with Google My Business in upcoming videos. Um, I wanted to talk about some of the benefits to lead generation. And for me, one of the biggest benefits to this has been that you own all the campaigns, which means that you also retain all of the work that you do when you build up each campaign. And what I'm referring to with this is when you start out your SEO career, you typically will do SEO for retainer. And you put all this work in, build up the campaigns, get the leads going well, and there's a lifetime on that client. And when that client leaves, you start all over again. Now, with lead generation, it's a bit more advanced of a strategy, meaning that it's more costly up front. You own all the campaigns, website, hosting, all of that stuff, the phone numbers. You have to pay for all that. But once you put all the SEO into these websites, that they start churning, and it's like laying the foundation. Everything you do is like putting another piece in the puzzle, and it just builds off of itself, and you own it. And the next benefit of that is I mentioned that lifetime on an SEO client, whether that's 9 months or a year and a half. There comes a point that they're optimized, and typically, like there's a turnover rate, and you start all over again. With these, the turnover rate's much lower because you're putting in all the work. You're selling leads that are already warmed up to these clients, and typically, if you're giving quality leads, they're going to be really happy, and they're looking at this as an additional revenue to their main business income and or revenue stream, and this is just a marketing expense. And so typically, they're not going to be like, oh, we don't want to keep getting more business and leave you. Because with our business model, for instance, they're paying for the leads that they've already gotten, so it's not paying for what they might get, it's paying for what they've received. So as long as they're happy, and as long as you vet quality, reputable companies that you end up selling these leads to, then you're also not having to replace them as often. So it goes both ways there. So the lifetime of the client is much longer. Um, let's see, we talked about the turnover rate. Oh, yeah, and then if you do have a turnover, secondly, if you like lose a client for one of those reasons, whether they weren't a good fit for you, or maybe they went out of business, God forbid, and they stopped buying your leads, whatever it was, um, you still own those campaigns. Those leads didn't just stop coming in, they're still coming in. So rather than starting from ground zero, all you have to do is a little bit of cold calling or cold emailing outreach, and within a few days you have a new buyer and you're back up and running. Now the benefit here too is because you already have those leads coming in, when you go and approach a new company to buy these leads, you now have a much stronger sales offer as well. Meaning you can come in and you're like, hey, it's on average, for the last 6 months or 12 months, we've been generating this many leads that have been closing and converting for our past client. can you handle these amount of leads? You come in strong, you're not starting from scratch. It's a win-win right off the bat for whatever company you close with. So that's another benefit of lead generation. And also third, unlike SEO where you have regular meetings where you go over keyword rankings and you change up the marketing strategy or have to do website revisions or whatnot, the amount of time you spend with each client is extremely minimal. I mean, a lot of these clients, you sign them up, you onboard them. A lot of times you can onboard them the same day you cold call them. Um, you get them signed up on contract or retainer, then you bill them every 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what type of leads and how your campaigns are set up. And that's the only time you talk to them, is that once or twice a month when you invoice them. I've got some clients I check in with them a couple times a month over email, but that's it. I don't have to do these long phone conversations anymore, these Zoom meetings. So your time is a lot more streamlined, especially if you're delivering good leads, you've vetted good buyers. You get a good lead management tool. I'll talk about some of the tools I use in an upcoming video. And you get a good billing in place with your lead gen. It becomes very streamlined. Like for instance, I used to have someone that their whole job was to audit all the calls, and now I have a new lead management system. So the calls are actually all imported and sorted, and instead of having to have an employee that goes and listens to every single one of them, um, they're actually filtered out based on metrics, and the client actually can approve or dispute them on their end too. So the whole thing can be streamlined. It's a lot more efficient than SEO clients, in my opinion. These are a few of the many reasons why I've started to love lead generation. Let me know what y'all's experiences have been. If you are new to lead generation or you're thinking about getting into it, let me know any questions you may have. I'm going to be putting out videos soon on lead generation techniques that have been working for me in different industries, and I'll be putting out some of the tools and processes that have really helped me start to stack it up, take it to the next level. So see you guys in the next video.